You're listening to The Rich Life Revolution with me, Michelle Cooper. My mission is to empower you to step into your next level of wealthy. You'll hear all the deets, a little bit of inspiration, and real life takeaways so that you can create your own rich life revolution. Let's dig in. Hey girl, hey! Welcome to another episode of The Rich Life Revolution. I'm your host, Michelle, and on today's episode, number 43, can you believe it? We're almost at 50. I'm going to tell you all my tips and tricks, all my awesomeness from my several trips to New York City, which were eye-opening, which were growth-oriented, and which were just a lot of fun. Like, a lot of fun was had. So let's talk about going to New York. Now, when I was in high school, now I might be dating myself here, but when I was in high school, one of my favorite TV shows was Fame. And me and my bestie, Kim, cheerleaders that we were, decided that we were going to, upon graduation, make our way to the Fame School in New York, where we were going to be discovered for our cheerleading awesomeness. Clearly, that did not happen. And, we went our separate ways and did amazing things. In fact, Kim ended up working on a cruise ship. I ended up traveling the world, working in finance, and we came together randomly and caught up. But if we think back to the things that we imagined as children, I'm pretty sure that for many of you, the romanticized version of New York City is something that might stand out in your memories. I think that New York has popped up in my memories several times. And it's not just that, I'm going to go to the Fame High School or, watching Gossip Girl, which is a series I loved. Oh my God, guilty pleasure. Or, oh, what was that movie? Have You Got Mail? Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, all of it, right? There's this fantasy of the romanticized version of New York. And I think it's a bit of a reality. Like, I think it's actually, that's what happens when you go there. Now, I get it. People live there. It's not their holiday. I'm not living there. My experience is my experience. My first trip to New York was in my 20s with my then boyfriend, Carl, and we had an amazing time. In fact, we had such an amazing time that I don't remember a lot of it. Now, I don't remember a lot of my 20s for various reasons, but he kindly reminded me recently of several awesome experiences that we had when we were there and a lot of fun that was had. And when I look at my photos, which I'm doing now, you can't really see me because there's no video on this. New York has a magical energy, and there's no denying that, right? So I've been to New York in the fall, I've been in the summer, and I've been for Christmas. And I'm going to talk about each of them. First trip in the fall, met up with my amazing dear friend, Thomas Tipton. Mr. Tipton and I had become great friends years earlier, and he gave me the real lowdown on New York. So this was like buying a subway ticket. This was walking the streets of New York. This was getting on a bus. This was going to a show. This was all of the things that, you might be a little nervous to do in New York, but I had Mr. Tipton beside me, so I wasn't nervous at all. And it was a lot of fun. So I highly encourage you, if you're going to go to New York, to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Take the subway, get on a bus, like do the things that the local people do. Experience the subway, I have found, is not dangerous. And I have traveled on the subway on every trip in New York, and I have never felt in danger, even at weird times of the day or night. So in that trip, I got to see the Statue of Liberty. We took the Staten Island ferry, which was awesome. And you don't need the fancy tour. to see the Statue of Liberty in amazing detail. You can get on the Staten Island Ferry with all the people who are commuting and have an amazing view, amazing trip. It was just awesome. Think about my next trip, which was actually with one of my besties. My trip to New York with Marlo was in the summer, super hot. We ended up getting an Airbnb instead of staying at a hotel. It was a bit outside of Manhattan, a bit like try almost an hour, but it is what it is. We stayed in a really great part of town, mostly Colombian of nationality, amazing restaurants, little local eateries and stuff like that. Again, rode the subway, did all the things. Our favorite part of the trip, I think, was like having our tarot cards read in Washington Square. We had a lot of fun on that trip. We even talked about going and living in New York for like a month or 2 months or something, kind of getting a long term Airbnb and just experience what it's like to live there because it was a really rich experience for both of us. Let me tell you, we spent way too much time in Macy's. Okay. I feel like spent almost a whole day in Macy's. Every floor we went to had some kind of crazy ass sale on. And I don't know if it was just the time of year and they were getting rid of a bunch of stuff, but we both bought way too much stuff and a lot of hours was spent in Macy's. Now, saying that, I did get an amazing Donna Karan suit jacket, like blazer, which was awesome. And I think it ended up costing me like $40. And this was like a $600 jacket. Like it was crazy. We both got several pairs of shoes. I think we both got Coach handbags. I don't know. There was just all this awesomeness that was to be had at Macy's. And we had a great time. Money spent on a girls' trip is the best money that you can spend to feed your soul. Okay. So don't go cheap on this. I prioritize girls' trips in my life. So I have two really, really amazing friends that I have to travel to see. One of them lives in Iowa and the other lives in Ontario. And we have to be intentional. We have to plan to see each other. So this takes commitment, people. Like this takes a serious amount of commitment. And, my friend Wendy, who lives in Iowa, she's got 3 kids, a husband, like she's got shit to look after before she can step away from her life. And so it really is a big commitment for her to get away, but it's a priority. And Marlo, although she doesn't have kids, she's got several businesses and aging parents and all kinds of things. So these are things that we have to make time for. Okay. Relationships, whether they're romantic, their friendship, their work, their whatever, it doesn't matter. Relationships take commitment, they take intention, and they take time. But if you make those soul commitments and soul appointments, you will be given back so much awesomeness. And I can't encourage you enough to make this time, to show up. Now, I met some amazing people when I was recently in Orlando. 2 really, really fantastic, awesome girls. Well, they're not girls, they're women. And I am committed to us getting together again next year at this same event, but hopefully some other time over the next 12 months so we can hang out, have fun, talk business, talk life, because we just got along so well. So it was awesome. So back the bus up, Michelle. Let's back up to New York. So my biggest takeaway from my summer trip to New York with Marlo was to make time for girlfriends. Make the time, book the time, be intentional, be committed, show up, be yourself, hang out, do fun stuff, spend the money. Don't stress. Okay. The next trip to New York was Christmas in New York. Now, this was a trip that I took with a travel group that I belong to, and it was a lot of fun. Okay. Christmas in New York, this is like all the Hallmark movies put together. We did all the things. We did the Rockettes, we did the Wicked, we did the ice skating at Rockefeller Center, we did Fifth Avenue store windows, we did the horse-drawn carriage through Central Park. all the things. I probably haven't even named off all the things, but we did all the things. However, this trip was a bit weird at the beginning. Okay. So I got there a little bit early because I was coming from LA because I had been at an event. And so I think I was there a day or two early. I had made plans with a friend who was going to be on the trip. He was getting in early. We were going to meet, hang out. That didn't work out. He didn't communicate effectively. And I ended up wasting time waiting to meet with him. He didn't show up. He went and did some other stuff. Like, I don't know what happened there. I don't even care to know at this point, but that went weird. Anyways, I took myself out. I went to a couple of iconic kind of New York things to see in New York. I met up with some other friends that live there, and I enjoyed the Christmasness of New York by myself. Then I met up with my group and we did a couple of the like Christmassy bars. So all you got to do is speak into your phone about what you're doing. Like, start talking about Christmas in New York, and you will find that your Instagram feed shows up with a gazillion Christmas in New York things to do. So I had basically a whole feed of things to do in New York, fun restaurants to go to, fun bars to go to, drinks to try, food to try, all the things. So that's it. That's like a hack. It's like a travel hack. Okay. Drop in the gold here. If you're ever somewhere and you're wondering, like, what do I do here? Just start talking about it and have your phone by your mouth. And all of a sudden, your feed, the algorithm will pick up on that and your feed will change. So I did not do the ice skating at Rockefeller Center because I don't really like ice skating. It's not my jam. I don't mind it, but I don't need to do it. Like, I come from Canada, we ice skate all over the place, so it wasn't really a thing for me. But going to see Wicked was amazing, awesome show. The Rockettes were unbelievable. The effects at the Rockettes were amazing. But let me tell you what happened. I met the coolest chick. Okay. So I made a new friend on this trip, someone who has become a great little travel buddy with me. And she's tiny. She's like can fit in my pocket. It's hilarious. But at first I wasn't sure if she was my jam. I was like, I don't know. She seems a little frazzled. I'm not too sure. And she'll laugh if she's listening to this because she knows what I'm talking about. But we got along so great, honestly, and she's become a great friend of mine. I just visited her in Florida. We went to the Versace mansion for lunch, like all the things, and I just adore her. She's awesome. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, what did I take away? What was my biggest transformation on my trips to New York? It was pushing myself outside my comfort zone, traveling to the big city on my own, being a small town girl in a big city. And let me tell you, the biggest one was just smile. If you smile, people will smile back. It's the law of reciprocity. And you will find that people will offer you the most amazing opportunities just because you gave them a smile. So that's my invitation to you today. Pause, smile at people, connect, say hello. Hi, how are you today? That's all you got to do. And if somebody is in a bad mood, then they can be in a bad mood. That's not on you, that's on them. But I promise you that doors will open when you smile, when you say hello, when you engage, and when you show up in your own life. Friends will come into your world. Existing friends you'll create memories with that cannot be forgotten. I still have memories from that trip in my 20s. That was like 30 years ago, people, even though I don't remember all of it, but I do remember some. And we can't replace these things. These experiences are so much more important than the next Gucci handbag or the pair of, I don't know, sneakers you're coveting, right? Like, we can have those things as well if we want. But these memories and these experiences are what really matter in the world, and people are what matter. Make a new friend, solidify a relationship with an existing friend, and get to know yourself better. Love yourself, friend yourself. I'm Michelle Cooper. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Rich Life Revolution. I can't wait to hear all of your feedback. I would love for you to hit me up in my DMs or comment on the post on social media about this. Follow, subscribe, heart, do all the things. And don't forget to join me next week where I am interviewing the amazing, intuitive, psychic, crazy ass woman, Rosalind Fung, who is going to dive deep into the Akashic Records with us and explain all of this. It's a fantastic episode, and I know you're going to love it. So I'd love to see your pictures of New York. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got at least one gold nugget today. Be sure to grab your copy of the Rich Life Revolution workbook to help you set the foundation for your next level of wealthy. Get it now at richliferevolution.ca, and I'll see you later.